So we're going to give you today a little bit of an update on Key Biscayne and what's going on down there. Stick around. Let's see what we get into. Well, hello again, Internet. Welcome back to the channel. Yep, I got a little bit of an update for you on the Key Biscayne story. And we're going to go through a little bit of their latest council meeting. And I'm going to put a link to it in the description down below. I would encourage everybody to go watch it for yourself. If you scroll down on this link that I give you, it'll say where it talks about the e-bikes and motor scooters or electric scooters. It's about a 45-minute section out of about a 3.5 hour video. I would encourage you to take a look at it, but we're going to take a look at some of it right here for a little bit. And I've cut down to about 10 or 11 minutes of footage. I've cut out what I can, but I want to give you a few thoughts on it. I did watch through this entire thing, so let's go ahead and go with it.
That will take a little bit of time. Let's do a conversation first about motor scooters, and then the community initiatives follow.
Boom, right there, motor scooters. They're not even calling them e-bikes to get this meeting started. They're just going straight into motor scooters.
So as we wait for the mayor to get back, go ahead and read through the documents.
Now you notice they're giving out these packets
and I apologize
right
for not getting these into the book, but we actually had some additional information come forward from Commissioner Regalato's office today that helped us with the timeline. The intention of this is to frame a conversation about the options that we have available. And so, as you know, soon after we had the incident, we were working with Representative Lopez.
So what just happened right there? Well, they're going to frame a conversation. That I know what that means. That means control a conversation. They handed out these packets. You notice he apologized that they didn't make it on there. Those are, from what I understand, supposed to be available to the public, and I know through a request, it was not honored to give that packet to anybody in the public. Was it really because information came in and they just couldn't do it? I know how that works, and that's generally not the case.
And we were offering up some possible options on how we would want to approach, or one way we want to approach regulating electric bikes and motorized scooters. And, as we began to think about it more deeply, one of the consideration we said maybe age is one of the most important things that we should look at in terms of regulation. So she was able to get that into a House bill and move forward very quickly through the committee in the House. Passed through the House as a full vote, then went on to the Senate, and unfortunately did not make it through in the Senate. So currently we do not have the ability to regulate by age. Obviously this conversation we'd be having right now would be very different. What we do have the ability to regulate, and as you see on there, is by the device itself, location, and then Chad can also bring up, as we get deeper in the conversation, some additional variables that we might be able to consider on how we want to regulate going forward.
So let's interpret that just a little bit. They put in a bill with Senator Lopez, and it did not pass the Senate. And so now they're looking for, their own little workarounds. Believe me, I know exactly how that goes, and that's exactly what's going on here.
Input at that time.
So the only option we have tonight, if we want to do something, or when the ban expires, is to say they can't be on our roadways, sidewalks, or parks. Correct?
Well, we already have the authority by parks, and we already have that authority on our own roads. Right?
Well, yeah, then soon we get granted, but
the Crandon Boulevard is
right now. That's the only thing we can do.
Right, and we can also regulate by device as well.
All right.
By device, so we can
say class 1's okay. Class 2 and 3 are not okay?
Yes, you can designate by devices.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay.
Right there, they're telling you they know exactly what a class 1, a class 2, and a class 3 is.
What are the things that we
But that's
can
not going to seem to
and
matter
we
to
cannot do? because this continues to be an item of discussion throughout the community.
One thing I think we all agreed on is that the law is not well written. It needs to be fixed, and I hope there is a solution. So, just to summarize, I do think we can regulate, we can prohibit traffic movements on our roads. We can talk about different classes of vehicles, Councilmember London, and then eventually, if we want to talk about a more permanent ban, then we'll have that discussion, because coming with a permanent ban has its own issues that we should discuss, and we will at that time. So I guess that's it. I'm open for questions on it. I know I gave a thorough overview, but we've been
Permanent ban.
over the last couple of weeks, as you can imagine. Steve and myself have been working extremely hard with the community, with people reaching out to us, as well as the county and the state, and this kind of
Permanent ban. He just said it right there. If we're going to come up with a permanent ban, that is what they have intentions
summarizes
of
our
doing.
collective thoughts on the issues.
Okay, so do we have, because to bring it back as a consensus of council that unless something changes drastically, that we would be in a position to extend it for another 60 days, because we'll need that time. Not because, maybe not all of you may not agree, but it needs to be extended in order for us to see these things play out.
Well, it
I
needs
was
to be.
told that, part of the document, that you cannot have an emergency ordinance past the 60 days.
Okay,
You can't have
well,
a second one.
That's
Sure. Is that
not
correct?
That's not correct.
Sure. So I saw that myself. We did not declare a state of emergency.
Right.
Okay. We adopted an emergency ordinance. It's completely different. Number one.
Fine, okay.
Number
just wanna
two.
make sure.
That particular statute that was circulated dealt with ordinances adopted pursuant to Chapter 252 of the Florida Statutes.
Okay,
I think
so
Chapter
we're still looking for
381 of the Florida
loopholes here.
Statutes. One deals with declaration
And
of
they were
emergencies,
called on the
and other
fact
deals
that you're
with
not
public
supposed to be able
So-
to
Not having
repeat
to
a
do-
60-day emergency ordinance on anything. And their reason is, well, that's only if you're in a state of emergency, and we have not called for a state of emergency. And the only reason that is applicable is for, I believe you said, the state of emergency and for public health. Wait a minute. Is people getting run over by all these e-bikes? Is that not the public health that they're doing this for? What else is it? They're making a fine line separation between health and safety, which are really the same thing.
With 316.
I mean, my understanding is that even if we wanted to do a permanent ban and we give direction to them, we would still have to do a 60-day extension no matter what, because that's going
Correct.
to take 2 readings anyways.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. Right.
All right.
So we're gonna do it. That's
So
it.
there's
That's why I wanted to get consensus here, because we're going to have to
for the
do it.
extension.
There we go again. If we're going to look for a permanent ban, we need to get this 60-day extension, and it's probably going to be another 60 days on top of that.
Exactly.
Okay.
You know where I've stand for years. 2 years ago, I wanted to permanently ban these things, and now we're here. We're actually discussing this, right? I see that the 8 years or almost 8 years I've been sitting on this dais, I have not gotten more complaints, and this is before the incident, about these bicycles and these motorcycles that children who do not have driver's license are driving around. I don't think anything else even comes close to the amount of complaints that has come in from there. And after this ban has been
Bicycles
passed,
and
I don't think I've
motorcycles.
received so many
But yet they're
thank yous
banning them all.
on any
He
other
said it
item
right there,
of
bicycles.
the amount of change that happened in the keep. Where I stand on this, and I think a lot of you may do also, but I believe that, and like Luis de la Cruz said, these are electric motorcycles, and I'm not against mobility devices. This is not about being against mobility devices. This is about having a driver's license to drive a motorcycle. And I think that's what we all want. Now, the state is not allowing us to do it, and we're put in a position where we don't really have much choice other than to ban them until they can fix that ordinance, right? I'm not really sure with what our manager, Steve, has presented to us of, well, we're going to wait and see what they're going to do at the county. I don't know why we're going through that. I might be missing something.
Well,
But
I'm not telling you can wait. I'm just giving you the timeline of what's happening. I'm giving you,
Okay.
putting everything option on the table for you.
okay,
to
great.
consider.
I thought
I'm
it
not
was
making any
I thought it was
recommendations.
like to start and do the ban in August or whatever. Okay, good. Because I think we should get this thing written up and brought back to us for first reading in April for a permanent ban. I want to make sure that the people out there, because I've talked to a lot of these kids and parents, that this 60-day ban was not a reflection, just pause because of an incident. Not my understanding. My understanding is that that's all we could do in an emergency ordinance, because an ordinance takes 2 readings and we would still be sitting here going through the readings. This would have been just first reading and nothing would have been able to happen. So that was the only reason why there was a 60-day. This is not a temporary ban for reflection and then everybody can go back on their bikes. So I'm not sure where all of you stand, but where I stand, I tell a lot of people, if you're under 16, I don't see this coming back for you.
So I'm confused because you say permanent ban, but you're talking about a ban until such time that we can regulate it.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, because
So-
permanent ban to me means never again.
That's not a permanent ban.
That's not a permanent ban.
Permanent bans be permanent.
Correct, but I heard permanent ban.
Okay, it would be an ordinance passed until which we would have to undo.
We're all saying the same thing.
So yes, that's what we mean about it. And maybe we can even write it in the ordinance that if the state allows, driver's license required, maybe the ordinance automatically will turn to whatever it needed to be and doesn't need to be passed, whatever. I also, I can tell you, I've already met with parents, friends of mine who kids own these, and they came up to me and said, "Thank you. Thank you for stopping this." My kid even owned one, but it's ridiculous. And now I'm seeing them ride bikes. I'm getting calls from people saying, "My kid is riding the bicycle for the first time in years." And I said, "Oh, that's nice. They had a motorized no, they never had a electric bike." I'm like, "What do you mean?" They said they were too embarrassed to ride it because they would get made fun of if you were caught riding a regular bicycle. And now they're out there riding them. I see dads and kids. It's amazing the difference. So there's no problem here in Key Biscayne that if you don't have a driver's license, you can't ride a bicycle. I mean, that's not in our...
Okay, I'm just going to say it straight out. Let me back this off here a little bit. I call BS on this guy, and I'm going to hashtag Key Biscayne, Florida in here, and I'll call you that to your face. There's no way in the world that everything has become rosy because you have banned e-bikes. I call BS on you, straight up.
Argument for me.
I would permanently ban the Type 3 motorized bike because it's 28 miles an hour. Our speed limit's 20 on Key Biscayne, so it's ridiculous to have a bike, motorized bike. I would permanently ban Type 2, which is what Lucio was talking about, electric motorcycle, because you don't have to bike that. That's just a throttle. And I would permit Type 1 bikes, which are motor assisted. I think they're talking 15 miles an hour. And I would set the age to go to junior high school so kids could drive them to Mast.
But we can't do that.
No, then I would permit them altogether. But again, it's a pedal assisted bike. It's not a motorcycle. It's not the high speed one.
No, they are different, that's for sure.
Sorry.
They are different.
And you bike your regular bike at 12 miles an hour anyway. Just casual.
Okay, now,
So you really
this
don't get
guy
any
right here,
advantage.
I could sit down and have a debate with him, and we may not come out of the end of it agreeing, but I would certainly respect his opinion on it. I can tell you that. He knows there's a difference between them, and he's willing to see that difference. And so I can have a tremendous amount of respect for him. Even if I don't completely agree with him, I think he makes a valid debate. So good for you, sir. Good for you, sir.
And you're not talking about going up hills here.
And Mayor, I think it's important also I've heard people say this is a knee-jerk reaction to an incident that happened, which is very far from the truth.
Right.
This came to us more than a year ago, and I wasn't in favor, but obviously the majority of council is to try to find ways to regulate it within what we could do, and it didn't work. I mean, it was very obvious it didn't work. We did the education, we did the enforcement. It was really difficult. So, we've been dealing with this for over 2 years now, and it's not just like, oh, we're just coming up with this idea of knee-jerk reaction.
Again, and I think this is the same gentleman, but I just call BS on him. Plain and simple. This is absolutely a knee-jerk reaction. As I stated in one of the other videos, there was a kid got hurt out on the highway that they're battling so hard for right now, and they told the parents, nah, nothing can be done about it. That's Miami-Dade County. Yeah, I call BS on you. Again. If that's the same person.
True.
What about the idea of, with exception possibly for the gated multifamily, the secured multifamily?
Now, you talk about loopholes. Let's just call our whole community a park, and being as a state law gives us the authority to say electric bikes are not allowed in our parks, then we can now say electric bikes are allowed nowhere at all in here. It really gets my blood pressure up pretty high. We'll go and listen to a little more of this.
The entire village is a park.
Yeah, people recreate throughout the entire village, so the whole village is a park. So we can do whatever we want because it's our park and we have jurisdiction over that. I can't even go on anymore with this. But like I say, I would encourage you to go and take a look at this video, and do not be afraid to call the town of Key Biscayne and give them your opinion. This is what's going on. And like I said, this is a modern day Salem witch hunt. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. This is not about safety for the public. This is about getting rid of something that has been a nuisance. There was another part of this meeting that they talked about the golf carts. Well, they talked first about the battery fires. There's another problem. We got to get rid of these because of the battery fires. And then they talked about the golf carts. Well, there's no ban on the golf carts. Hey, guys, a lot of them golf carts have lithium-ion batteries in them as well. So, but we're keeping you up to date on this the best that we possibly can. You guys know this is not my forte, so this editing might be a little, but we're gonna keep doing the best that we can on this, and we'll keep getting better at it. But that's what I got. Like I say, I encourage you to go ahead and take a look at the entire 45-minute video. If you scroll down, you'll see that spot says electric bikes or electric scooters, and so you click there, and it'll take the video straight to that point in it. And go ahead and watch through. It's about 45 minutes worth of watching. And then, hey, don't be afraid to call this town and give them your opinion. And definitely call your politicians. I will say it again. They are our servants, not our master. They forget that. But guess what? We tend to forget that too. If we do not tell our servants what is expected of them, we cannot really complain much that they're not doing what's expected of them. So get on the horn, make your voice heard, let your servants know what you expect of them. And that's going to wrap it up on this one right here. Till the next time, Internet. And hey, we're going to be out there on the next time too. This Southern E-Biking telling you, stay safe, God bless, and keep the wheels rolling. Once again, we're out.